Now that we've looked at the structure of a unit standard, the next step is to look at the assessment process. There's basically 11 steps that you need to complete in this process. Step number 1 is to choose the correct unit standard. We'll look at where to find unit standards in the next module, but for the moment know that you need to find the unit standard that covers the skills and the knowledge and the attitude that you want to be assessed against. Once you've selected the correct unit standard, you need to read through it thoroughly. You need to make sure that you're familiar with it so that you can choose the training that will cover each one of the aspects of this unit standard to prepare you adequately for your assessment. The next 2 steps are quite easy. You need to attend the training, prepare thoroughly for the assessment, and schedule the assessment with the assessor. Now your hard work starts. You now need to complete your portfolio of evidence. A portfolio of evidence is a file containing your personal information such as CVs and copies of your qualifications and your ID document, and all the evidence that you've compiled to prove that you are competent against this unit standard, along with assessment documentation like the assessor's reports and feedback and the moderator's report and feedback. Once you have your POE complete, the assessor's hard work starts. The assessor will make arrangements to collect the POE from you. The assessor will then go through the POE and check that you've provided sufficient and valid and fair and adequate proof of your competence against all the elements of the unit standard. Depending on the quality of your work, the assessor might assign remedial work to you to complete in your portfolio of evidence. That means that you might need to answer questions that you might have missed. You might need to complete instructions in the assessment, in the practical assessment, or you might to redo some of the work that you completed already. Once the assessor is satisfied that you've provided sufficient evidence to prove your competence against the unit standard, he or she will provide you with the assessment decision. Depending on the outcome of this assessment decision, you might decide to appeal the decision. You need to check with your training provider what the process is for appeals against such a decision. Once the assessment of a group of portfolios is completed, a percentage of them need to go through for moderation. A moderator will then check that the assessment process was completed correctly and verify that sufficient evidence was provided and that there's proof that the evidence is valid and that it's your own work. After the moderation process is complete, the results of the assessment is uploaded to the National Learner Database, verified by the CETA, and you are issued with a statement of results and a certificate stating the unit standards and the credits that you have achieved. This brings you to the end of a lengthy assessment process, and you can now move on to your next assessment.